Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working. Wow, bad news. It looks like the Canelo Alvarez I was born ready versus Billy Joe Saunders fight UK fighter will not be picked up by UK network Skysports. The reason why? Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, y'all know what to do. Now, let's jump into the mix. The Telegraph, they have an exclusive. You guys see it. Sky Sports will not show Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo Alvarez unification fight. Promoter Eddie Hearn said the broadcaster made no bid for the fight, which has links to Daniel Kinahan. Wow. So Sky Sports wasn't even interested in bidding for this particular fight. A deeper look, it says Sky will not show Billy Joe Saunders unification fight with Canelo Alvarez, the Telegraph Sport can reveal. Promoter Eddie Hearn said on Thursday that the paid TV giant made no attempt to land one of the biggest bouts of the year, which is definitely not one of the biggest bouts of the year, but it had nothing to do with the involvement of the alleged crime boss in helping broker the contest, which will instead be shown by DAZN. Broadcasters have been under pressure to, quote, take responsibility over Daniel Kinahan's grip on the sport after Saunders last month confirmed the Irishman had done the deal for all his world title fights. Telegraph Sport also revealed last month that Sky Sports has signed up to a United Nations charter that pledges to fight corruption. So this is getting crazy for your boy Canelo Alvarez. This man then got into bed with a fighter, you know, proverbially speaking, and he has links to a crime syndicate. And now it looks like Sky Sports is basically doing what I said I was doing, which is a blackout. The Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders blackout, and the Avni Yildirim Canelo Alvarez blackout. So let's talk about it. Eddie Hearn is saying that Sky did not even attempt or bid on the fight to secure the rights to air the fight. He's claiming this has nothing to do with Daniel Kinahan. But what a coincidence that Billy Joe Saunders, just like Tyson Fury, opens his mouth and says, oh, Daniel Kinahan, he's a great guy. He defends him because some people have came out and BBC made a docu-series about him, which depicts a lot of heinous crimes and whatnot. Billy Joe Saunders said he's a great guy. That's untrue, and the documentary is full of it. And he did, in his efforts to, quote unquote, defend Daniel Kinahan, he most likely made it worse because now Sky Sports is not bidding on his fight. Eddie Hearn can tell you whatever he wants, but you tell me why else would Sky Sports not bid on a fight with a UK British fighter like Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo? Why would they not want that on their network? You know, so I don't believe Eddie Hearn. I don't believe Billy Joe Saunders. I think the true reason is because of pressures, because of Kinahan's involvement. So they don't want to touch it with a 9-foot pole. They don't want to touch it with your hands. Keep in mind that Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders it was never announced, but they were reported to be fighting last year, right before the pandemic, like literally right before the pandemic was known about in the US and the NBA did the shutdown and things like that. They were reported to have a fight. Here's an article. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders, highly likely and negotiations are there. Now, keep in mind, this is a Sky Sports article from this time period, from this timepiece, right? You guys can see it's from 2020, February 2020. So even though it was never announced, it was widely known. It says Billy Joe Saunders on the brink of facing Canelo Alvarez, right? According to Jamie Conlon from MTK Global, who also works with Daniel Kinahan. So they were talking about doing it May of the pandemic year, right? 2020, the year that came out and started. Now, all of a sudden, Sky Sports is not. So they're writing articles and they were building from it. They were building it up and doing articles about how this is the next fight likely. And then the pandemic struck. And then now, a year later, after people have lost money with the pandemic, and there's been this pouring and this outcry for people to separate themselves, Exhibit A, from Daniel Kinahan, and this panorama came out. Now, all of a sudden, Sky Sports doesn't want to bid on it, and they don't want any parts of the fight. So please, somebody interview Eddie Hearn and have him explain why, if it's not because of the Daniel Kinahan link, please explain why they're no longer interested in it and they were interested in it before the pandemic. So I think this has something to do with it. BT and Sky Sports urged to boycott broadcasting any. Sky and BT urged to take responsibility after Daniel Kinahan, right? BT and Sky Sports called to boycott the broadcast of any boxing matches involving Daniel Kinahan. Sky Sports distanced itself from Tyson Fury and Daniel Kinahan. So this is June of last year, February of this year. And you mean to tell me it has nothing to do with Daniel Kinahan? Oh, wow. So what does that have something to do with? So the pressure is on, and that Panorama docuseries probably made it worse. And I think Sky Sports as a business and an entity, they're like, nah, we don't want that. So it looks like your boy Ego Stradamus strikes again, and the Canelo Alvarez Saunders blackout that I created, it looks like we going global. BT and Sky Sports urged to boycott broadcasting any boxing matches involving Daniel Kinahan as there is blood on money involved, right? So they say this is blood money. We don't want no parts of it. No, thank you, right? And Garda and basically the feds over there are like honing in and closing in. And Billy Joe Saunders, just like I told you, has a big mouth and he likes to talk. But the thing is, when you're being backed into a corner and you keep talking, then you end up incriminating yourself. I tell you all the time, the most dangerous thing is a camera and a microphone. Now, make sure you guys click my link to get TubeBuddy if you're interested in building a YouTube channel. TubeBuddy is a great browser extension and resource to help you strategize. I use it daily. I started my channel with 0 subscribers like everybody else, scaled up to over 200,000. Use TubeBuddy, click on the link, go to my link tree. That's an easy way to do it. Also, we have ESPN Plus by using my link, and these things go to help the channel. So all in all, more bad news. Looks like the world is closing in on the whole Daniel Kinahan situation. People who are involved with him, they said that he's trying to whitewash his money and money laundering and things like that. And now they're being urged and called. And now you have a UK broadcaster, like probably the UK biggest sports broadcaster, Sky Sports, that didn't even attempt to get the Canelo Billy Joe Saunders fight. So once again, let old media tell it. Everything I say is false. They said the Canelo Saunders fight is huge. So if it's so huge, then why does Sky Sports, a UK broadcaster, and they work with Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn's fighter is a UK fighter, Billy Joe Saunders, and Canelo's supposed to be the face of boxing, then why aren't they bidding for it? You guys got a lot of questions. I told you this will be the worst year for old media. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.